hit my head on the edge of the sink, and when I came to, I had a revelation. A picture in my head. A picture of this. This is what makes time travel possible. The flux capacitor.
Okay, so what do we got going on, Christina? What do we have here?
Well, I just ran over the spark plugs and the O2 sensors that you're getting installed today. Luis is going to do his thing.
All right. All right. Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome.
Hey, Luis, so I got a couple of questions about these spark plugs. A lot of people want to know, first of all, what makes the spark plugs so expensive? Mopar spark plugs. And can you just get any aftermarket spark plugs like Champion or anything like that? What's your recommendation?
Yeah, as far as the spark plugs that we got on there, these iridium spark plugs, so they have a longer lasting material, so they will burn as hot as you need to. You know, higher octane needs to burn a lot better, needs to distribute the heat easily. But also, yeah, I'm sure you can put any aftermarket parts on there. They will fit. It is on the Hemi block, so you can fit any aftermarket.
Now, if you put an aftermarket spark plug, does that void your warranty?
Not necessarily. It won't void the warranty unless that we can determine that the spark plugs that you put in there are actually the cause of the failure. You know, you don't want to put AutoZone O'Reilly's their low-end spark plugs. That could affect your performance. You know, the quality is not as up to par, and you want to have a name that's backed up with you. So if anything does go wrong with these Mopars, they'll definitely back up.
Okay, now let's take a look at the O2 sensors. So I've asked to change the upper O2 sensors because, guys, if you know, I've tried a lot of fuel with my car, and now that I'm redoing my spark plugs, I decided what fuel I want to go with permanently, and I'll let you guys know that on a later date. I want to make sure that my O2 sensors are not coated with any other fuels or whatnot, because I run a lot of fuel through this car. At 12,000 miles, over 600 passes on the drag strip, would you recommend something like that, a spark plug change?
Now, so all this guy does is a sensor. It senses what's coming up out of you. So depending on what your engine is producing, if it's producing too much carbon, then yes, it could definitely affect it, and yes, I would recommend you to change it. Okay,
so we're going to compare the new one to the old one. Same thing with the spark plugs, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll pull them out and see what it is, what kind of residue is left on here, what the fuel does after it's been combusted, and also we can see what it's doing to the spark plugs inside the combustion chamber.
All right, let's get it. Let's go. What is that you just pulled off, Luis?
We got here, this is a coil pack. Okay. So you see both of these prongs. Obviously, each cylinder in a Hemi has 2 spark plugs in each cylinder. And so we have one single coil pack to drive each of the spark plugs in. That's our coil pack there for us.
First plug. Let's take a look.
There's nothing shiny, there's no fluids in there, everything's being burned. You're seeing you get into different temperatures there. So let's put it up against the new one.
So basically it'll either be coated black or...
Yeah, basically any of the lower octane fuels have built up a little bit more soot than the higher alcohol fuels, so you get a lot more that's going to be sticking around the igniter and the capacitor down there, or the tip. So the actual iridium part is the actual electrode on the inside. Everything else is either ceramic or stainless steel.
Okay.
Yeah. piston right up front. See the other one in there? You got your valve. Turn it. Be able to see the spark plug right there. So your piston walls is your piston right at almost at top dead center. Here's your little gap in between. On the next one that's further down, we can check the walls.
So does everything look copacetic?
Everything looks fine. As far as you can see the cross hatches on the cylinder wall still, so that means it's still good shape. It's not wearing. It's not too much pressure in there. At the mileage that you have and probably the abuse that you put it through, I think it's in really good shape.
Okay.
If we weren't able to see in there, we could have probably found an easier fix to a problem rather than disassembling the entire engine versus, hey, let's poke the camera in there and see what we can find, see what's different, and then we can see it under the normal conditions that it's in versus we've already exposed it to air, water, anything else other than what's inside the chamber. Yeah, it seems about right.
It runs like a beast. Is that how the plugs generally look to you?
Yeah, especially if it's the car's well maintained. So a lot of times you'll see like this backing out, or you'll see the ceramic cracking.
But as far as the color, you think it looks okay?
Yeah,
it's an average
especially with that fuel that you're using.
So you don't
another
find a
thing is you'll see a plug that's been there for a long time. You'll see a lot of like
webbing.
Not really cracking or webbing, just like oil residue, like creeping up the plug. The gapping's still pretty tight because it's turbo, because it's supercharged. It's gonna have a really tight gapping in it. On your NA motors, it'll be a little bit more open. So the gap is still pretty much really consistent on both of them. You won't see much change, much wear on these higher quality materials that they use on here. I still will check the gap before I install all of these. So we're gonna just see what Chrysler and SRT team deem as standards for it. So we'll check the specs on that and also the torque specs for these plugs. I do recommend it using this grease to protect the insulation from getting too hot and actually melting to the spark plugs, so that the next time you do your tune-up, you replace the spark plugs, you're not going to pull out and rip out the plug on one of these coil packs. So that just keeps it easier from there, and the dielectric greasing just keeps any moisture, water, and air to get in there. Any little thing that we can keep out, definitely going to help. These look very normal. I know you've used different fuels on there. I think it's just a little bit too early to see any defects that would have if you were like long-term driving, but you put it through its paces. It definitely gets its work out of it. I don't see anything wrong, nothing out of shape. Everything is pretty much good to go.
So what do you set the gaps to, Luis?
So these, since these are the iridium plugs, these come pre-gapped. They didn't show me any specs, but I'm going to find out what it says for them, because it only shows me a 6.2 and a 6.4. It doesn't show me the specs for the 6.2 supercharged.
Okay.
These were built for these. They don't necessarily won't be going on any other vehicle.
Oh, so these plugs only go in the Demon?
Correct.
Okay, well then they're pre-gapped.
Correct. So they won't give us the option to put any other gap on there, because it's the only one that we're going to use it on.
Where does peace go? Where does peace go?
So Luis, what made you want to become a mechanic?
You know what? I've always liked how things work. With my toys, I've always destroyed them, but just not to destroy them, but to find out how they work, what makes them go, what makes the noise, what makes the lights go off, and that portion always interests me. Growing up, a lot of the car movies got me far more interested in vehicles than electronics, so mechanical aspect I'm really into.
Where the peace go?
So can you explain what you're doing, Luis?
Yeah, so in order to access the 6 and 8 coil packs back there, I need to move some lines. I know we've got a lot of cooling stuff in the way. So these lines right here, I'm just gonna break them open so I can move out of the way just for access.
So when you change plugs, do you hook it up to something to see how it's firing, or do you just change it and it goes?
The powertrain control module on this is super smart. Way smarter than anything that I can visually manage.
So you don't have to hook it up to nothing.
Right. No. Everything that monitors your fuel, your fire, and your O2 sensors determine what spark goes up in here. So
Got it.
It's way more advanced than what we can visually do with the monitors. They monitor your fuel trim, your fuel ratio, and all that stuff, are what's going to determine how they fire, how much fuel, and all that. So they work in their different algorithms to stay steady with that. But so what we'll do is we'll revert it back to zero.
Okay.
It has different stages of depending on what you're looking at. So we're gonna reset it back to zero, and as you drive it, it's gonna figure.
It'll relearn itself.
Yeah, it's gonna relearn its own calculation.
So when you put fuel in it, it relearns that fuel.
Right. So it'll adaptive numerator is what it's called, and we have a table of 24.
Okay.
And so depending on what the ambient temperature, what the coolant temperature is, it presets those, and whatever it fits best or whatever it's most efficient for it, it'll use that one.
Got it.
Once we get it running, make sure there's no air pockets in there, so we get it running and get it up to temperature. Make sure there's no air in there, and then we can seal it up and should be ready to roll. That's downstream O2 sensor. Downstream O2 sensor there, and then you have your upstream.
Okay.
Down further. So this one is actually monitoring inside the cap, which is good for it. This one is right after the manifold, so all those exhausts is catching it at the manifold. Be read by this guy, and then once it goes through the cat, I'm sure there's multiple chambers in here, then we'll read what it's going through there.
Okay.
So today, we can get rid of this guy here. So you see the connector runs all the way up, like I was talking about. It's up there, so
I see
it's probably a good idea that we didn't turn it on, because these get hot
really fast.
Yeah. So this one has more coated on it. This would be the receiving end of it. It's coming out this way. You can see where the back is.
Okay.
Pretty much the same as the other one. So this one here, that's me getting it out, manhandling it. But you got the same effect. The orange will build up on the front, and the back is fine.
Okay. Heater.
Yeah. So these have to be warmed up to operating temperature in order for it to read properly. So first start up in the morning, usually are being heated up by.
So is that why they're so loud in the morning when you first start them?
Yeah, because they don't know how much they're affecting how much fuel it needs. It's not reading properly.
Sweet.
Where the peace go?
Get them in tight, and we'll tighten the rest of the way. Cable up to the connector. reach. Hook it back up. Right there, if this was hot, half of my arm would be gone.
Where the peaks go. Where the peaks go.
38 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So we start those two.
What is that you clean it with, Luis? Some type of solution?
Yes, it's an alcohol-based solution for basically degreasing. It's easier and lifts up any of the oils and grease we have on there. And it won't damage any of your paint and any of the other products. So we use that, probably every single dealership in the nation.
Yeah, that's where it's dripping at, right under that.
Right here.
You can see it. Where is it, like 9 pounds?
Yeah, it was less than 10 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Whereas this other side, sorry, 35, 40, it's at 50. So it's at least 50. I just used that to see how far it was out. I'm gonna find the specs.
Okay.
Tighten it to that. We'll clean it up and then we'll see what it looks like when you come back.
Okay.
See, that's probably a third of the way up. And then we compare it to the bottom of this right here. We're low just a little bit.
Okay.
We haven't lost much, but I'm going to top it off for you. See what down about what flow we're going to put back here.
Okay. So when those axles give out, they'll just turn, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Most of the stress is just driven through here or the actual joints itself.
I guess we just look to see if it's moved anywhere. Oh yeah, look, it has a green mark on that one.
Yeah, that's just the factory so that they know that those boots are tight
Oh, okay.
with those clamps. A lot of these parts have marks on there so they know somebody's gone through and tightened that.
Done the work.
Yeah. So see how those mark the bands and the boots? If those is moved, somebody didn't tighten it.
Nice. All right, buddy.
Peaks go.
David, what you working on now?
Grand Cherokee.
Grand Cherokee. There he is, guys. Happy David.
I'm back.
He's back.
I'm back.
He's back. Cool hand Luke.
Let it catch up to itself.
Yeah.
Let it race back over again.
That's what it's trying to do, huh? Yeah, you see a little smoke coming out. Probably from the fluid. Yeah, you hear it through. It's adjusting itself.
The rust penetrant we put on the exhaust.
Yep.
That's what I was talking
Coming
about.
out.
Smell some of that.
I'm gonna go around and see if I can get this paid for. Okay.
Marty! You've got to come back with me!
Where?
Back to the future! Go ahead, quick, get in the car!
Hey guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and also click the bell. Check out the videos up at the top, and if you get a chance, check out our merch store. Peace.